Hey everybody, Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in NBA 2K24 going for the Spreading the Love achievement. This is to have a game where you have all of your starters put up double digits. Before we get started, we're going to head into features. We're going to go into settings and we're going to adjust some things. You are going to need a little bit of time for this, so I am going to recommend anything 2-minute quarter length or higher. Turn off both fatigue and injuries and then head over to the sliders. Make sure you crank everything in your favor by turning all of the user sliders up to 100 and all the CPU sliders down to 0. Once you have that set, back out one more time. This is going to be very important that we head into the coach settings, as we're going to want to turn everything that's going to be auto over to manual. This will make sure the game doesn't substitute any of our players out, and we definitely need to make sure we keep with our starting 5. So make sure you turn timeout, player minutes, and substitution over to manual. Back out to the main menu, head into Play Now. This one's going to be done in a quick play game. I am going to recommend you do this with 2 controllers, as that's going to make things super duper easy. Make sure you keep note of who your starters are, as you are going to need to keep track of their points. But basically what you want to do is make sure you pick a starter, make sure you get them the ball, and then make sure you have them score 10 points. Most efficient way to do that is to have them put up 3s, and then make sure once they hit 10, you move on to the next person in the list. And then you just keep doing that until all 5 of your starters have 10 points or more apiece. Whenever you get the ball on the controller helping out, the second controller, make sure you just turn the ball over either by throwing it away or running it out of bounds or getting a backcourt violation. That should put the ball back on the side going for the achievement. Then what you want to do is make sure you try to get it to the person who you are still trying to build up their points for, and then just keep that up until they hit 10. I am going to recommend that you do this one player at a time, as that's going to make keeping track easier. If you don't plan on doing that, you can always check your stats by heading into the pause menu. However, it is going to be way easier to do this one person at a time so you don't get mixed up. If you're doing this with 2-minute quarters, it should take pretty much the entirety of the game, so this is going to be about a 7 to 8 minute or so affair. The achievement is going to unlock mid-game, so if you need more time with this, feel free to crank up the quarter length. And if you give yourself a ton of time, you should be able to definitely get it. But nonetheless, we're going to just keep working on it. Of course, since we turned off all of those automatic features in the coach settings, we shouldn't worry about the game automatically substituting our players, which is going to mix us up if we didn't remember who our starters were. Now, thanks to these sliders, we should be able to score every time as long as we are shooting reasonably close to the basket. So make sure you try to get as close to the 3-point line as possible whenever shooting 3s. You might have a little bit of trouble with some of the bigger positions, as they're going to not be so good at shooting from long range. In that case, just make sure you try to move closer to the basket and then try to put up some 2-pointers. But nonetheless, once you get to 10 points, either way, you should be good for that player. So just make sure you are keeping track of things. Reasonably, you should get this somewhere in the 50 to 60 point range. So you can use the actual game score in order to keep track of things, as long as you're not overdoing it or underdoing it with any one of the players. So here we are, we're just going to keep things up. Do keep in mind the basket is going to shift sides once we get into the second half of the game, so make sure you just do the same thing but on the other side. And of course, doing this with 2 controllers is going to still be super duper easy, as we can just get rid of the ball as soon as we can when we have it on the other side. So highly recommend getting a second controller in for this, so that can speed things up and make things super duper efficient. So to jump ahead a little, here we are on our 5th and final player, starting to put up their points. Once we get this person up to 10, and we have the other 4 in double digits, we should be good for the achievement. Despite the achievement description, it is going to unlock mid-game, so we don't actually have to finish the game in order to get it. There it is, it's going to be for 30 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.